Hello, fellow bikers. My brethren on two wheels. I'm just going to do a quick, very amateur shot. I'm not even going to edit this. It's unscripted. I just want to talk a little bit about the Lolo magruder, trails. They call it Lolo motorway. They call it magruder corridor. We had watched, my brothers and I, countless YouTube videos, that kind of thing, and there wasn't a lot of what I would call real information that would be useful. It was all fun and games. It was beautiful scenery, and I will say there was some fun sections and a lot of beautiful scenery and that kind of thing. But there is a lot of treacherous stuff up there, and that's the point of this video. My brother sustained a major injury to his foot. Basically, his foot is crushed in a wreck, and myself and my other brother emerged unscathed. We accomplished the magruder corridor, which was about 80 miles, and then we did about 27 miles of Lolo motorway. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that, just to give you an idea. This is just a cautionary tale. Some of you, many of you maybe have already done those corridors, and you'll say, it was no big deal. So good for you. You know, if that's your situation, maybe you went on that on a lighter bike, maybe you've traveled the world, that kind of thing. But here's my situation, okay? I'm going to turn this around a little. This is a 2004 1150 GSA. And many of you are going to say there's no business this bike had up on that pass, in retrospect, hindsight, right? Which is always great. My brother says you can never correct hindsight, right? You can never argue it. But this is a pretty heavy bike. I think it's around 750 pounds. It's very tall. I had it loaded up with camping gear and all that sort of thing. Of course, my panniers were full of stuff as well. So pretty heavy ride. I'm sure it was plus 800 pounds. I'm about 6'1", 220, and I can handle this bike pretty well. My experience is growing up on dirt bikes and three-wheelers. I mean, just kind of some crazy riding on those bikes. I had a YZ490. I've ridden YZ250s. You know, my brother had a TT. So we were always on stuff. You know what I mean? Ever since I was like 14, and I've ridden all manners of street bikes. I have 3 machines now. We did about a couple hundred miles dirt road last year on a big trip, which was fun. And so I have some experience. Nonetheless, let's talk a little bit about that. 100 miles for magruder, and that was treacherous. There was they say, with baby doll heads. These were giant boulders. In places there's giant boulders sticking out, there is a lot of just avalanche-y kind of looking rock, sharp edges, ridges. We had our tire pressures down to about, I think I was running 28 pounds of pressure in the tires. And these are Idaho tires, big beefy tires, stiff, really strong rubber. They survived the trip well. I mean, they really did well. So definitely lower that tire pressure if you're going to do that. But yeah, a lot of cobble kind of rock, fist-sized rock that would just kind of pour out of your way. The ruts were deep. They would pull your bike into the ruts, and there was a lot of first gear, second gear maybe riding for that entire stretch of that 100-mile magruder. Some of the inclines on that, I could not believe I was actually tractoring up that hillside, and it was a lot of situations where it's do or die. You're going up and down inclines, and it's those situations that if you don't navigate it, you're going to be in a world of hurt on a hillside. So you need to be prepared if you're not already. Make sure that you're prepared for that inevitability. Now on Lolo motorway, we did that the next day. We started out, we accomplished 27 miles of that, and we were hoping that Lolo motorway might be a little bit easier. It was not. It was rougher, it was sketchier, and 27 miles into it, one of my brothers had a major accident, and we were stranded on the hillside there for about 4.5 hours. What we found out later is that my brother sustained a compound fracture on his right foot. His foot got crushed, literally crushed. And what we pieced together is that he was going up a steep incline, hit some of those boulders, the bike got bouncing, and then it eventually threw him into a bank, which is fortunate that it didn't throw him off the hillside, which is rather steep. So we were stranded there. My other brother had to ride in. get some help. Sheriff came up, four-wheel drive ambulance. They took him down. They found the extent of the injuries, and he had to be helicoptered into a local hospital. So that's a dire situation that you might want to be prepared for. So we had limited cell signal. We had food, we had water, we had tents. But that's the experience. And so in the midst of all of that, there are passages that are like dirt roads, like gravel roads and dirt roads, kind of like you're going to a campsite. So there's some enjoyable riding to be done for sure. A lot of soft powder, a lot of just like deep crushed rolling rocks, boulders. You're going to find everything that you ever wanted in an adventure, and if you're not careful, you will have an adventure of another. If you're one of these people that have traveled the world and you've never had a problem on the hills, my hat's off to you. I'm glad. I wish your good fortune to continue. You probably picked a lighter bike. You maybe have some more experience, etc., etc. And I'm happy for you if that happened. So this video is really intended for those who maybe are fairly new to the off-road experience. This was only my second major outing off-road. We did one last year up in northern Idaho, and about 200 miles or so off-road kind of stuff. A lot of variety, but nothing near as challenging as what we went on. We were up around the St. Mary's River, if you're interested in that detail. But yeah, so this is just a cautionary tale. I'm not trying to freak anybody out or waste anybody's time, but we just couldn't find any major information that suggested the intensity of the Lolo motorway and Magruder. A lot more bikes on Magruder. We saw 5 bikes on Lolo Pass during that 4.5 hour stretch where we were stranded. And by the way, you bikers that came along and stopped and checked in to see if we were okay, thank you. My heart goes out to you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, there's some good people. We met some great bikers out on Magruder, but a lot more traffic on Magruder, so that might figure into your plans there. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who stopped and helped. Again, if this gives individuals a chance to go, maybe I better control my speed, just be careful, tractor it up the hills, don't get your momentum bouncing around at high speeds. I think that's a big danger. So again, this is just a word of caution out there. By the way, I'll finish with this kind of thought. My brother was looking on the internet, and he did a simple search string that maybe we should have done earlier. And his search was Lolo motorway accidents. And one of the sites that popped up right away was the most dangerous roads in the world.org, if I got that right. And guess what? Lolo motorway is one of those. So if this helps somebody, whatever, that's all it's intended to do. And yeah, I wish you well. Keep riding. Okay.